All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? And in today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about the New World dev update that we finally got yesterday. Now, there are a lot of things that I expected or had hoped would happen, and there was obviously going to be some things that I didn't expect to happen, and there were some things that when I watched it, it really caught me off guard. And we're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk a little bit about the community backlash, and in general, why I don't necessarily agree with all of it, even though I've been saying a lot of the same things. We'll dive into it in this video, okay? I'm just telling you guys, there's been a lot of annoyance with the announcement. So, with that being said, let's dive into it. First of all, let's talk about what we know. We are getting cross-platform with console, as is expected. They're opening up the game to PlayStation and Xbox players. There will be cross-platform servers, fresh start servers for players to go in and play with people across different platforms, which I think is good. New World is a type of game that I think really works well with controller. I have a lot of friends that played controller before controller support through Steam. They really enjoy playing New World, so having aim assist is going to be nothing but a benefit for them. All this is good. It's going to bring in a whole new player base to the game. Players that have not yet experienced New World, that have only heard stories or haven't heard stories at all because, it's not on their platform, and why would they care about a game that's not on their platform, right? So it's going to draw in a whole bunch of different players, which we expected. There is also a solo free-for-all PvP zone, which I think is awesome. Having those sorts of zones is going to have a ton of repeatable content that will probably be more popular than OPRs and arenas combined. Just that type of repeatable open world content is going to be really, really good for the game. It's going to put a lot of hours for players back into the game. I think I'm really excited for that personally. What I wasn't expecting is we're also getting a trial. So 3 boss 10-person trial, if I remember correctly. I think all this is really cool as well. Doing something more for the large scale PvEers as well. All this stuff is good. And then they went through a discussion on overhauling a lot of I talked in a previous video about the sharding that they're doing, where they're trying to improve performance in the starter zones. They also talked about how they are going to not really have big time loading time screens for players logging into the game. So you sign into your server. If your server is full and backlogged, they will give you the choice to load into another server, which I think is great. I think a lot of the issues that they suffered back in 2021 when the game first released is they had a bunch of people interested in playing the game, and they didn't have the proper tools to get people to get in and enjoy the game. And I think the retention really struggled because of a variety of things, but this was definitely one of them. And so they fixed that. They overhauled the main story quest line. They're incorporating more solo repeatable boss instances, basically, like through the quest line. You're going to fight different bosses throughout the area. And so once again, this is more good repeatable content for players that you can go back and enjoy if that's the type of stuff that you like to play. All this stuff is good. The stuff that caught me off guard a little bit was them talking about the class archetypes that they have, and like how you could play like a ranger and all these other things. And it's like, guys, this is just weapons. Like I understand that you're trying to sell this game to console players. I totally get it. But come on, don't pee on my head and tell me it's raining. So I thought that was kind of funny. Them talking about how it's a single-player role-playing game now instead of an MMORPG. There's been a lot of discussion that I've seen where people have been talking about what the classification of what the game is. I'm not going to go into a definition of whether it's an ARPG, MMORPG. It doesn't matter. It's the same game it's always been. They're adding another trial. They're adding a solo PvP zone. You're still going to have wars. You're still going to have invasions. You're going to still have all the other stuff that you've had. It's the same game it's been. But yeah, all the new stuff is coming in October. So all this stuff I thought was pretty good. I think this is the step they had to take. A lot of the community didn't take it so well. They didn't take this so well because, yeah, we're not getting this release until the fall. And I've been watching other YouTube content creators, and they've all kind of echoed the same thing. Like, hey, this announcement's going to be great, but we're probably not going to get any stuff till the fall. I'm assuming that the console platform release won't happen till the fall because that's when all the big releases for New World happen. And so I think a lot of people expected it to wait till the fall, but the fact that it's actually been solidified as this is when it's happening kind of just made people realize, like, hey, yeah, you have this big announcement, but it's not changing anything for a couple months. The same game that has been bleeding players for the last 6 months due to what they've been doing with the game is going to continue to bleed players for the next couple months until they finally release this new chapter. And so I think a lot of that realization kicked in. I think a lot of people are justifiably upset about it. PC players are not happy, and I totally get that. I totally get that, you know, they should be supporting these players. For the last 3 years now, they have struggled with retention, and this is another issue that they have, is they just do not, like, this entire thing, they're just not catering to PC players. And so I think that makes sense that a lot of PC players feel that they're left out to dry. Now, from my perspective, this is the way it's been for the last 6 months. This is the way it's been when they announced that, you know, they're not going to have a roadmap until later on in the year. This is what they announced back in January and February. I don't know what people were expecting out of this. It was always going to be an announcement. And so I do think, besides ignoring PC players, which I think is wrong, I think how they're approaching console and how they're integrating console is a good thing. I've talked about it with my new player experience a few years ago playing New World, that there's just not enough stuff to do. The main story quest line was boring. There was lag, performance issues. Even when a lot of people were coming in, you had to wait in queue sometimes. Like, I remember Marama just had hour-long queues even last year. And so it just, stuff like that, like alleviating a lot of those issues was stuff that they needed to do on the front end, because they're going to have a lot of players coming in from console. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 6 figures in population coming in from PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they have 6 figures worth of population. So I think that's going to happen. Now it comes down to, are you going to keep those players? And so alleviating those things, having more content to do. I think the way the game is currently structured, this is the way the game should have released back in 2021. With the amount of content that they have now, I think players a lot more players will stay a lot longer, because there's so much more to do. Things are a lot more fleshed out. Things are a lot more finalized. I said before, the stuff that they're integrating this fall, I felt like players had maybe 500 to 1,000 hours of really good repeatable content before things started to get stale. I think you have more than that now with the solo, for the free-for-all, with the trial, with all these other sorts of things. I think this buys them a really good head start. And so from my perspective, I think everything that they have addressed for console release is going to allow them to retain players at a higher level than they've retained for PC. I think PC essentially were the guinea pigs. They were the lab rats in the experiment, and they were like, okay, this is what not to do. And now, they have the blueprint. They messed up every step of the way, and now they need to do everything that they can come this fall to not do it again. Now, are they going to do that? Are they all of a sudden going to change things that they've done? I don't know. So I'm just going to approach it from the way I always have. If content looks like fun, I'm going to play it. If there's population, I'm going to play it. If there's not population, I'm not going to play it. And so I think that's how players should approach it in general. So overall, I get what they're doing. I wish that they would have thrown a bone to the PC players a little bit more. I totally sympathize with you guys. I really do. But overall, I think for the direction of the game, they really bought themselves a good head start. They bought themselves a good head start with where the new chapter is going to go. And that gives them a chance to potentially pump out a lot of content going forward. Hopefully, they don't have to spend so much time fixing all the stuff that was fucked up when they released it in 2021. Hopefully, they can move forward with good stuff. And so get a good release. Have good content. Don't have performance issues like you had in 2021. Don't have all these buggy problems that you had in 2021. Have a larger player base enjoying your end game, and then start building off of that. Start integrating content either on a quarterly or every 6 month or yearly cadence in a way that keeps and retains players and keeps them interested. So that's their goal. If you were hoping that this was going to completely save the game, I wouldn't look at it that way. I would look at it as, hey, this is a good start. Now they got to keep it going. So that's my perspective on this. Obviously, I'm just one person. This is just one solo opinion. If you disagree with me, that's okay. It's okay. Tell me about it in the comment section below. Tell me where you think I'm right. Tell me where you think I'm wrong. And we can talk about it. But yeah, I'm going to end this video here. Take care, guys. Have a nice day.